Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone is doing well. This is going to be my February TBR, my reading plans, you know, the whole works. Excuse me. As you can tell, I'm sitting in a different spot than I normally film in. I just rearranged our guest room and cleaned it, hung up the twinkly lights. Anyway, the space just felt so clean and cozy and I just wanted to sit in here, so that's why I'm here. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but I always have these moments when I want to rearrange furniture and then I just sit in it and enjoy it because it just feels like a whole brand new space. Anyway, grab a cup of coffee or whatever you prefer to drink and come along with me as I share my reading plans. I've got mine right here. I have a whole color theme going on. My cup matches the bed colors. Anyway, so yes, I will be doing the Brighter Winter Reading Challenge again this month. This is the last month for this challenge. This month it was a little bit more difficult to pick books that fit the prompts, and there's also quite a few more activity prompts, like related to reading or whatever. And so there will be fewer books, I guess, but more unique, different prompts, I guess I should say. I'm just going to go through this stack of books that I have here in no particular order, and I'll let you know the prompts that they go towards. Yes, anyway, we're just going to go ahead and get started with the first one. Oh goodness. So, the first one that I picked up is actually a reread, because that is one of the prompts, is to reread an old favorite, and I chose Lori Wick's The Hawk and the Jewel. This was the first book that I ever read by Lori Wick, and it was probably my first real historical romance book, and I fell in love. Brandon was definitely my first book crush. Just gonna put it on there. I did start reading this today, actually, just because I wanted to get started. Another prompt that I'm trying to fulfill along with it, so I can check off 2 at the same time, is to read it in a day. I don't know if I'll finish that today or not. It's fine if I don't, because I have plenty of other books that I can try to do that with, but that is another one that I'm trying to put toward this. But anyway, I absolutely love this story. We follow Sunny, who was a young girl when she was like 15 months old, I believe. There was a storm. She was sailing with her parents, and there was a storm, and they were in a longboat trying to get to shore. There was a big wave that knocked her mom and herself out of the boat, and whatever country they were in, I'm not even sure if it's a real country. I never actually looked it up, but it was somewhere in the Middle East. I'm not really sure. But the king, I guess, the ruler of that little country there, they had rescued Sunny and her mother, but her mother ended up passing away, and this king decided that he wanted to just keep this little girl because he thought she was just the most darling little thing. And so when Sunny's dad came onto shore looking for his missing wife and daughter, the man just said that the little girl, or like there was no sign of a little girl. So the dad sailed away with the body of his wife and left Sunny behind, but thinking that she was lost at sea, which he didn't really question. He was in the middle of grieving the loss of his wife, and it was not hard to believe that a little girl would have been drowned in the water. So anyway, but then as she gets older, she knows that she's different. She knows she's from England, and so she's been trained to speak English, all of that. And she's very curious about England, and they finally decide to just send her back to England to her family. And so Brandon, who is actually a duke, is a sailor. He owns a ship, and so he's the one who comes to pick her up and bring her back to England. And so we just follow her story of just adjusting to a completely different culture, different clothing styles, different foods, just everything is different. Her family in England are Christians and she is not, and so we follow her journey of, you know, figuring out what she wants to believe. And I don't know. I absolutely love the story, and obviously there's going to be a romance between Brandon and Sunny. There is a pretty big age gap, like I believe they're 10 years apart, and so when they first meet in the beginning of the story, when he comes to pick her up to bring her back to England, she's 13 and he's 23. So that's a little weird, but it follows the story up until she's like a young adult. But anyway, I don't know. I love this story so much. And once again, I will say that I love Lori Wick and how she includes so much of the Bible and Christian living and faith. Like I just love her faith content in here. And like, this will probably be I think this is going to be the 12th time that I read this book. And I love it every single time, and I find new things in it that I just love so much. But like following Sunny's journey of how she comes to Jesus, spoiler alert, she does, but yeah, just following that whole journey and how the gospel is once again like so well represented in this story. I don't know. I love it so much, and I'm so excited to reread it again. I think Erica had read it a couple months ago, and I was like, I need to pick those books up again. There's so many books that I want to reread that I was like, how do I choose which one to put towards this prompt? But this is the one I decided to go with, and I'm so excited. I'm currently 68 pages in from when I started it this morning, and I'm loving it so much again. I can't. Anyway, moving on. So the next one then is, if you would have watched my vlog, the Week in the Life vlog that I posted, you would have already seen this one, but this one is Surprised by Oxford by Carolyn Weber. So this is actually going towards 3 different prompts, or 3 different challenges, because it fits a prompt in the Brighter Winter challenge of choosing a book with an author that has a same initial as I do, and Carmen, both have a C. So that one fits this prompt. And then it also will go towards Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf challenge with a complimentary color. I don't know if I talked about it in January that I chose The Martian to be for the first prompt for January that she had of reading a book with a or the in the title. So The Martian was the first one, and then the second one for February is to read a book that has a complementary color. And so The Martian has the orangish reddish color, and the complementary color on the color wheel spectrum thing was a light blue color. And so this one fits perfectly, and I'm very excited that I can use a book that goes towards the Brighter Winter challenge and Read Your Bookshelf challenge. And this is also the book club pick of the month. I also said in my vlog that I just recently joined a book club. And so this was the pick for the month, and I'm so excited to read it. I only have 6 more days actually to read this book, so I need to get on it. I'm not very far in, but the little bit that I am in already, I don't know if you can tell. Come on. I've already got quite a few tabs in there. I'm really enjoying her writing so far. I love her humor, and I'm just really excited. Basically, this is just a memoir of Carolyn, of when she goes to Oxford to study. And I think it's just her journey of how she becomes a Christian and finds God, because she was the person in the beginning of the book of just thinking that she doesn't need God. Whether he existed or not didn't matter, she just didn't need him. And so I think this is just her journey of coming to the Lord, I guess. I really don't know for sure, because I haven't read the entire thing yet, but I think that's basically the whole premise of this story. But I'm loving it so far. And so, yes, those 2 books I did already start reading, but the others I have not yet begun to read them. But the next one then is Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. So this one goes toward the prompt of reading a book set during the winter. So I didn't really want to pick this one up, and here are my reasons. I watched the movie, so I already know who did it. And so I'm just not sure that I'm going to enjoy the book without having that mystery in it. I don't know. We will see. I have not read any of the Perrault stories yet, and this is one of them. But anyway, this is the only book I owned set during the winter that I have not read yet. And so I'm trying to read books that I haven't read yet that are on my shelves so that I can read them and keep them if I like them, get rid of them if I don't. And so I'm just trying to work my way through my physical TBR for most of these challenges. And this was the only one that fit that prompt, so I'm just gonna go with it, even though I did watch the movie and know how it all turns out. But anyway, I hope I enjoy it anyway. and I also can't DNF it and count it towards this challenge because we have to read the books in their entirety. We will see how it goes. But there's that one. So then the next one is Counted with the Stars. So this one doesn't actually go towards a challenge unless I figure out that it will work for one of the challenges for the Brighter Winter reading challenge. But this was the Christian fiction book club pick of the month that the booktubers, several of the booktubers, I'm sure most of you would follow them already. This was the pick and the one that they're reading, and I saw that my library had it, and so I immediately snatched it up because it sounds really good and I want to read it along with everyone else. But this is biblical fiction. I don't think any of the well-known Bible characters are in here. They won't be the main characters in the story. But it is set during the time of when the Jews are leaving Egypt, the Great Exodus, you know? And so, yeah, Kaya, I think is how you say her name, she chooses to flee with the Hebrews because she had been sold into slavery or something. I don't really know a whole lot about it, and I don't really want to know. I just want to go in and read it and hopefully enjoy it. I've also never read this author before, Connilyn, Cossette, I believe. So, oh, it's part of a series, Out from Egypt, #1. I guess I will see if I like this one if I want to continue the series. But, yes. That's what that one is. I'm excited to try it out. I don't know when I'll get to it because my priorities will be to read the Brighter Winter Reading Challenge books, so I don't know. We'll see if I actually get to this, but I did just grab it from the library so that I can hopefully read it if I have some time. So then the next one is The Nature of Small Birds by Susie Finkbeiner. This one goes towards the two prompts actually. It goes towards the prompt of read a book with siblings or a family unit as the main characters. And then it also goes towards a prompt of read a book told from multiple points of view. And so, yeah. I first heard about this one from Chantel. She really loved it. And then Erica also got it and really loved it and said that Susie Finkbeiner might be one of her favorite authors now. And so I was like, I need to read this book and see what it's all about. And I'm very happy that I can read it this month and put it towards some challenges. I'm just going to read a little bit of the synopsis because I don't really know that much about it. But yes, it says, in 1975, 3,000 children were airlifted out of Saigon to be adopted into Western homes. When one of those children announces her plans to return to Vietnam to find her birth mother, her loving adopted family is suddenly thrown back to the events surrounding her unconventional arrival in their lives. That's all I'm going to read. I'm excited. I can't wait to read it. I want to see what my thoughts about it are and if I like Susie Finkbeiner's writing because I hear it's really good. Okay. There's a lot of Christian fiction in this month's TBR, and I'm not mad about it. Okay, so then the next one is Lady Jane Disappears by Joanna, Davidson, Politano. I've heard so much hype about this book, mostly from Erica, and I feel a lot of pressure to love this book. So we will see if I end up loving it or not. But, so yes, one of the prompts for Brighter Winter was to do a blind book exchange with a friend, and so this is the one that Erica gave me and I gave her one as well. I'm excited. I think most of you guys know what this one is about because a lot of the Christian booktubers have read it recently and have been talking about it. I don't really know that much about it, but I hope I love it because Erica said she's going to question all of my taste in books if I don't love it, so thanks for the pressure. But anyway, I'll just read the little back here for those of you who don't know what this one is about, like me. When, how do you say her name? Lorelei? Harcourt's father dies suddenly. He leaves her just two things, his famous pen name, Nathaniel Droll, and his wealthy family, who want very little to do with her. As Lorelei struggles to find a home with her father's family and learns the rules of society, she relishes in his parting gift, the beginning of his last story, the story she always wanted to hear about her mother's mysterious disappearance from the home where she now lives. To complete the novel, she'll have to extract clues from relatives and one enigmatic house guest, who often seem reluctant to give them up. So, a little bit of a mystery involved apparently, so I'm excited about that. Anyway, there's that one. I hope I like it. I'm sure I will. I don't really have it. I don't think there's any reason to not like it, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so then the next one is Angelic Music by Mead, and it's the story of Ben Franklin's glass harmonica. I did not know that Ben Franklin invented a musical instrument. What? And this one goes towards the prompt where I'm supposed to read a book that features music. And I picked this one up from the thrift store a couple years ago, actually, because it came through and I was like, I want to read this because, like I said, I didn't know Ben Franklin invented a musical instrument. And anyway, this was the only book that I owned that features music, I think, that I have not read yet. And so I'm very happy to finally be picking this up. Yeah, I hope I enjoy the writing. It's obviously a nonfiction. I have no idea what the writing style is or anything, or if I'll enjoy it, but anyway, I'm excited to learn more about this instrument. The last one that I have picked out for the TBR is The Road of Lost Innocence, and it's the true story of a Cambodian heroine. Her name is Somaly. Ma'am? Forgive me. I don't know how to pronounce her name exactly, but yes, she was a girl who was sold into sexual slavery, but now she rescues others. And so this one goes towards the prompt of reading a book by an author who is of a different ethnicity than myself. So yes, this was also one that's been sitting on my shelf for a very long time that I haven't gotten to yet. So I'm excited to dive into her story. I have a feeling that it's going to be heartbreaking, but yes, I'm excited to see what she has to say and just learn more about her story. Okay, so the next few prompts I need you guys' help with because I don't have any books that would go towards these prompts necessarily, and so I would love for you guys to give suggestions for some of these. And those prompts are to read a book in which the author lives in a setting different from his norm. So I'm assuming this one will probably be a nonfiction book, because the author has to be in that place where he's living that's not where he normally lives, if that makes sense. I have a few books that would fit towards that prompt, but I've already read them, and so I don't want to read them again. So if you guys have any suggestions for that one, please let me know. The next prompt that I need suggestions for is to read a book about a disability. I know there's probably so many out there, but I cannot think of any just off the top of my head that I've ever heard about, and I don't own any that I'm aware of. It can be fiction, nonfiction, whatever. So whatever your favorites are, if you have any that would fit toward that prompt, please let me know. I just noticed there's another one that says read a book from a tumultuous time in history. I have plenty of those, I think, that I have not read yet. I'm gonna quick go look. I forgot to fill that one out, so I'll be back. I'm gonna go grab one. I just recently found this one on my shelf again as I was going through all of the shelves. Most of the books that I own that would go towards the prompt of read a book set in a tumultuous time in history would be surrounding World War II. I have so many of those. It's because there's so many books that are set in that time, but it is what it is. I'm gonna try to read the books that I have already, and so I'm gonna go with The Book of Aron by Jim Shepard. It is a fiction book, historical fiction, but it's again set in Poland. I don't even remember picking this book up. I also wasn't aware that it was set in Poland, but I'm okay with that. If you remember, I read a trilogy last year that was set in Poland during World War II, and I absolutely love those. And so this is not a Christian fiction one, so I'm hoping there's no content in here that will make so I have to DNF and choose another one and try to read it for this challenge. But anyway, we're just gonna go with this one. I also love the simple cover of this book. But yes, I'll just read the back of it because I don't really know a whole lot about it. But it says, small and sullen, Aron is 8 years old when his family moves from a rural, wow, I can't say that word, Polish village to hectic Warsaw. At first, gradually, and then ever more quickly, his family's opportunities for a better life vanish as the occupying German government imposes harsh restrictions. Officially confined to the Jewish quarter with hunger, vermin, disease, and death all around him, Aron makes his way from apprentice to master smuggler. Finally, when everyone he cared for has been stripped away from him, he meets Janusz Korczak, the renowned doctor, children's rights advocate, and radio host who runs a Jewish orphanage, and who is able to awaken the humanity in the boy. So, I don't know. It sounds interesting. I'm excited to read it, and that one will go towards the prompt of reading a book set in a tumultuous time in history. The 2 prompts that I need your suggestions on are reading a book in which the author lives in a different setting from his norm, and then read a book about a disability. The first one is probably going to be a nonfiction, but the second one, the book about a disability, can be a fiction or nonfiction one. So yes, the other prompts that are more activities are to think about your reading life post Brighter Winter, and list 5 books you want to read by the end of 2023. I already filled that one out. Wow, I'm really choosing the big fat books. Alright, so yes, the books I chose for that prompt, that I want to, like 5 books that I for sure want to try to read this year. The first one is Paul by N.T. Wright. It is a biography of the Apostle Paul. And I'm excited to read it. N.T. Wright is one of the world's leading Bible scholars, and I haven't ever read anything by him, but I know that a lot of Christian apologists will reference his work. Not everyone agrees with him, but I wanted to read this one. This one came through the thrift store again, and I'm very interested in what he has to say in this one. Paul and his story has always intrigued me. I mean, he wrote the majority of the New Testament, and just his conversion story and everything. Yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah, I want to get to this one sometime this year. I have no idea when I will, but there is that one. Another goal, I want to put this video out eventually, but I want to talk about like a certain number of classics that I want to try to read this year, and so some of these books will also be in that video, so just be warned. But another one that I wrote down was The Scottish Chiefs by Jane Porter. This one was a book that I have known about for years and years and years, thanks to Eric Ludi. I'm sure some of you know who Eric and Leslie Ludi are, but this book is one that Eric has mentioned that has like shaped his life. So yeah, this one is a romantic, suspenseful novel of Scotland's 14th century heroes, Sir William Wallace and Robert the Bruce. This is just one that has been on my TBR for so many years. I actually started reading it a long time ago and clearly almost got like almost halfway through the book. And I was enjoying it, but it's also such a thick book that I just, yeah. Never got around to finishing it, so this year I want to read this one and see what it's all about. Okay, so then the other one that I wrote was The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. So obviously this is a classic, and I just absolutely love this edition. It's so pretty. I have the Jungle Book in this edition as well, and this one is also illustrated. This is the Sterling edition, apparently. Sterling children's books, and it's, yeah, the illustrations in here are so, like, adorable. I love this style of illustrations. But yes, this is a story. I have not read Wind in the Willows yet. I don't even know that I ever read even like short stories of Wind in the Willows. But this is one that I definitely want to get to. And then the other two are classics as well. But I put down Lorna Doone by Blackmore. I don't really know much about the story except that I found the TV show many years ago and was like, I really love this story. I like this TV show. I like these stories. I think it was just like 3 or 4 episodes, so it wasn't like a long TV show. But I loved the story, and then I found the book and I was like, I didn't know there was a book. I'm definitely picking it up and going to try to read it. Okay, and so then the last one that I put on that list was Quo Vadis by, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I think he's Polish, and the Polish language and my tongue do not have a good relationship. It's so hard for me to pronounce the names. I think I heard that Polish is like one of the top 3 most difficult languages to speak. So, Anyway, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name because I know I will butcher it. But this one is set during the early church in Rome with the persecution of the Christians and all of that. And this was one that my friend, who actually lives in Poland right now, had recommended to me many years ago because I was talking about the The Mark of the Lion series by Francine Rivers and about how much I loved it and the setting. And she told me that I need to read this one because it's basically the same setting. I don't know if it's the same storyline really, but it's the same setting. And I had tried reading it or starting it many years ago, however long ago it was that she suggested it to me. But I had just finished reading the Mark of the Lion series, and obviously Francine Rivers' writing is a lot different than this guy's writing. It was also translated from Polish, I believe. I could be wrong on some of these facts, whatever, but the writing is just obviously very different. It uses a lot of Old English words, and so it was just very hard for me to get into it, but I do want to read it. So this is the 5th one that I put on this list that I want to make sure that I try to get to this year. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so then the other one is look up 5 definitions of words you read in a brighter winter book. And so I have to use one of the books that I'm reading for this challenge for that one. I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. I'll fill it in later. But yeah, I'll be looking up different words and their definitions. And I actually do that already with a lot of books. Like if there's a new word that I have not seen before or I have seen but actually don't know the definition of, I have a note in my notes app where I'll go in, put the word in, give the part of speech that it is and the definitions. It's just something nerdy that I do, but also helps to expand my vocabulary. So yeah, this will be easy because I already do it. And then the other one is make a food or do a craft or other activity mentioned in one of the books you read. So I have no idea if any of the books that I have chosen will have anything in it that I could do towards this prompt, but we'll see. And then I do actually have, oh, I forgot, there is a free space on here that I could put the one we're reading this month for the Christian Fiction Book Club. I could put that one there. Sweet! That works! I can put that one there. Nice! So yeah, it's basically just a free space that I can put a book here that doesn't really fit anywhere else. So, nice! Let's go! Okay, so then another prompt is to choose a chapter in one of the Gospels and read it every day for a week. And they're doing this because, obviously, if you read a chapter over and over every day, you can just really dive in and get more out of it, I guess. I chose John 16. I chose this one because the different sections in this chapter are like the work of the Holy Spirit in our lives and how our sorrow will turn to joy. Like one of the main verses is, "So you have sorrow now, but I will see you again, and your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take your joy from you." And then the last part of that chapter is where Jesus talks about how you will have trials and tribulations in this world, but take heart, I have overcome the world. So this is one of my favorite chapters in the Gospel of John because I have a lot of it highlighted. I don't know if you can really see that, but most of this chapter is highlighted. And so I just wanted to read that one again and I'm excited to do a dive, focus in on one chapter and read it. Next one is to read a short story aloud to someone. So I'm going to have to find somebody who will want to listen to me read. And then another one is read in a favorite place, and this one I have to use one of the books that I'm already reading. So that'll be easy to do because I read in my favorite places all the time. So I'll just add one of the books that I'm reading to that one. And like I said, one of the other prompts is to read an entire book in a day. I have no idea if I will get this one done today, but I'm going to try, and if not, I'll just pick another one to do. And then the last prompt is to read 10 pages of the Martyr's Mirror. And I believe you can find Martyr's Mirror online for free on some of the archives. I don't know. But apparently it's a thing. So that's another prompt that I will get done as well. I don't actually own a copy of the Martyr's Mirror. If you have never heard of what the Martyr's Mirror is, it's basically just a compilation of stories of Christian martyrs who died for their faith. And so, yeah. I don't own a copy of the Martyr's Mirror. I would love to, but I just have never gotten one. But I'll just go online and read that somewhere else. But Anyway, those are my reading plans for the month. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if you enjoyed them or not, or which ones you would be interested in reading as well. And also don't forget about dropping your suggestions for those 2 prompts down below in the comments. So yes, anyway, I would love to hear what you're reading for February as well, so you can leave that in the comments, and I will see you guys next time, whenever that is. Bye.